The story begins with a man named Ryland who is currently inside a spaceship. He had been asleep inside a sleep capsule for an unknown amount of time. Gradually, he came out of the medically induced coma. As soon as her eyes opened, the ship's AI Mary started asking her some questions to know if her mental state was fine or not. But the problem was that Ryland did not remember anything at this time. At one point, he didn't even remember her name. He was very worried because of that. A robot arm was checking his body. But sensing danger, he got up from the table. He ran inside the ship, looking for other people. A short time later, he found a man. But as soon as he saw the man, he was shocked because the man was dead. Now, Ryland was even more nervous. He wandered into the ship's corridor and tried to figure out where he was. Then he found a large window. When he looked outside, he found that he was inside the space. Seeing this, he was shocked. He looked at the machines around him and realized something strange. He knows about these machines. He knows how to handle them. Then he realized that he must be a scientist. The next room made her even more emotional. There were videos of beautiful views of the Earth playing on big screens. Those videos reminded him of how far he had come. He was wearing clean clothes when the ship's AI Mary asked him to record his daily diary. This will improve your mental health. But Ryland said, "Talk to my captain." Mary then said that no crew member was left alive apart from her. Only he survived. Upon hearing this, Ryland told Mary to take the ship back. "I don't know where it's going," but Mary said that this command is not in the system. Then Ryland looked at the sun on a screen. He thought he was still in the solar system. That's why he talked about sending a message on meaning. Mary said it would take about 12 years for the message to arrive. She got angry at hearing this. He checked the star map and understood that the star that he is seeing is not Sun. That's another star. He checked the fuel level and made some calculations. Looking at all the numbers, he realized that he was 113 light years away from Earth. It takes a lot of time to go home. Realizing this, she broke down. Just then, his head ached and some old memories started coming back. He remembered that he was a molecular biologist. He later became a school teacher. At that time, there was a lot of talk about a particular news around the world. There was a strange line around the sun. He explained to his students that this line is called the Petrovich line, and it is going from the sun to Venus, and gradually it is causing the sun to become very weak. He told the children that if this process continues, the Earth will start to cool down within 30 years. A student got scared that his life will end, sir, but Ryland said the world's best scientists are trying to find solutions. 30 years from now, something is going to happen. Back inside the ship, Ryland shaved his beard. When he checked the supply, he found the waka. When he was alone, he drank a little and ate some food. Then he saw what was left of the crew and more of his memories came back. To reduce loneliness, she made a doll out of clothes and danced with it. She began to write notes on a board so that he could understand who she was, and then he remembered another one. One day after school, Eva, a scientist, met him. He had read Ryland's research paper in which he had written that water is not necessary for life. "Why have you come to me?" he asked. "Give me a job" was removed. "I am now a school teacher." At this, Eva reminded him that you had called your senior a child of the donkey. That's why you were removed. Now Eva told him that we have some samples of that Petrovich line, and looking at them, it seems that Ryland's theory, which was always denied, may be correct. Hearing this, Ryland agreed to work with him. He tested the samples in the laboratory. Those samples were moving, but look at what they're made of. It was very difficult. After a lot of experimentation, I realized that whatever it is, this thing is alive. But one cell was lost during the test. Then, when its structure was studied, it was found that they were made of water. Seeing this, he got very angry because his theory proved to be wrong. Then he noticed that these cells, they absorb light and then use the same force to move from their place. "Your theory is wrong," she said. "You can go home." But now, Ryland's interest was awakened. He requested me to just give him 3 cells for 2 tests. After a bit of persuasion, she finally agreed. Now Ryland wanted to find out why these cells are going towards Venus. The planet closest to the Sun is Mercury. Why did he reject it? He devised a plan for this. He created exactly the same environment inside a box as on the planet Venus. As soon as the experiment started, these cells immediately went inside the box. When this happened, Ryland was terrified. If this box is opened, these cells will be left open on the Earth. So Ryland, with the help of the guard, sealed the lab and turned off all the lights as they are pulled towards the cell light. Now when he opened the box without the light, he saw 3 glowing cells. That means these cells are growing. This was proof that they needed both sunlight and carbon dioxide gas to reproduce. She immediately called Eva and said that I made a baby. I've created a child. Later, the military took him from the jet to an aircraft carrier. Our brother was not in the habit of flying so fast, so he went to sleep with sleeping pills and vomited several times as soon as he reached the carrier. After this, Eva introduced him to the world's greatest scientists. Everyone else repeated the experiment and got exactly the same result. These cells are now called astrophages. But there was still a danger of the sun weakening. Scientists decided that they would have to make 2 million kg of astrophages. Why are we increasing the number? Asked Ryland. Then Eva told him the secret of the project Hail Mary. In fact, not only our sun, but many stars of the world are dimming. There is only one star called Tau, which is 11.9 light-years away from Earth. The plan was that a spacecraft would be sent from Tau to find out why nothing was happening to the star. No man-made spaceship has ever gone this far. But it's not that we can't build such a spacecraft. The question is, how do you manage it? So far, we haven't had that kind of momentum. But now these cells called astrophages that they have got, they can easily become the fuel that will take them there. But we have to use it very carefully, Ryland said. It is so powerful that using 1 kg of it will blow up the biggest city. Eve explained to him. That is why we are building it on this ship in the middle of the sea. The biggest and most dangerous thing was that the spacecraft's fuel would only be enough for a one-way trip. That means the astronauts will never come back. With the help of just a few small probes, they will send the data back to Earth. And now Ryland had become part of this mission. He remembered that it was not possible to go back from this mission. This mission was so dangerous because no one has ever done anything like this. Only 3 people were going to come on this mission: a pilot, an engineer, and a scientist. The success rate of this mission was very low. That's why the mission was named Hail Mary. It means a last-ditch effort. Now most of Ryland's memory was back. He went back to his friends again. It was heart-wrenching to see them. He cleaned their bodies, he kept their pictures in the pockets of his clothes and said a few things emotionally while remembering them. Crying, he promised that he would try his best to complete the mission. He then sent the bodies of his 2 companions out into space. Sometime later, Mary reported that her ship was approaching Tau City. That's why it was stopped. As the ship entered the star's orbit, the ship's gravity stopped and Ryland floated in the air. He looked outside, barely holding himself. Here also that Petrovich line is present, but the star is perfect. Just then he saw another spaceship near him, which he was completely surprised to see. As the ship got closer, Ryland immediately went to the pilot's seat and moved his ship a little farther away. But after some time, the second ship came near again. The farther Ryland goes, the closer it gets. Finally, the strange ship threw a small object at him. Ryland was afraid that it was not a bomb. And that's why she ignored him. That thing hit his ship and went somewhere else. A little while later, I sent another one, but this time it was much slower. So Ryland wondered if the previous one wasn't a bomb. So I go out and look at it. Is this it? He put on his safety suit and quickly read the instructions and got out. He hasn't been out in space yet. With great difficulty, he jumped at the right time and caught the thing. He tried to open it, but it wouldn't open. After a little investigation, it was found that it is made of a gas called xenon, which was incomprehensible to him because xenon is just a gas on our planet. How do these aliens have it in the solid state? Well, then he remembered that there is also a gravity-generating system inside the ship. He turned on the artificial gravity and the ship started rotating. After a few moments, gravity returned. And then he checked it again. Xenon was coming again after scanning. This time she turned the lid and it opened. Mary then warned that there was a foreign body in the room. Ryland immediately put the thing inside a perfectly safe box. There is a strange round thing inside in which the lines were formed. He opened the lid again and found another small round object with rods attached to it. All of a sudden, he stood up and let go of her hand. Ryland matched him with a map of the stars and understood that this strange creature was telling where it came from. These people have come here from far away. Ryland arranged roads to show him the location of the Earth and sent the object back to the strange ship. After some time, a tunnel-like thing started to form from there. Ryland understood that it was trying to connect the two ships. That tunnel connected the two ships. Ryland, dressed in a suit, carefully crossed the tunnel and reached the window of the second ship. Suddenly, he saw something behind his window. He panicked so much that he fell back into the tunnel. He held onto the wall with great difficulty. And then back to the window. This time he saw a stranger's hand move. The animal showed some small toys, a model of a small Ryland and a small ship. Shaking the toys, he motioned for you to go back to your ship. As soon as he returned to Ireland, the stranger removed the tunnel and also turned his ship towards Ryland's ship so that gravity could come there too. And then the tunnel reconnected. This time, when Ryland went inside, there was also gravity in the tunnel. He showed a model of his ship made of noodles. Now he came to the strange creature. Ryland noticed that he looked like a stone as he walked. When Ryland said hello, the creature let out a frightening sound. Ryland was frightened and picked up the wrench in his hand. This frightened the other creature, for which Ryland immediately apologized. As Ryland shook his hand, so did the creature. They both remained silent for some time. Gradually, their trust in each other grew. The creature then patted on the window and gestured to look back. And there's another message. Ryland found a strange collar when he opened the message. He was speaking in a gesture to take off the helmet, but Rahul refused. Then he looked at the collar carefully, so Ryland understood that it wanted to speak. You can breathe here. After thinking for a while, he dared to remove the helmet and was happy as he was able to breathe comfortably. He later revisited the earlier message and understood that he had shown the Petrovich line. That is, the alien has also come here to find an answer to the same problem. Ryland went back into the tunnel and hinted that the two could work together. But first, they must learn to talk to each other. He thought mathematics was universal. It's the same everywhere. That's why he showed the measuring tape. But he played with her like a toy. Then he showed the clock, but still did not understand anything. Then Ryland saw that the strange ship was dark and that the creature had no face. He guessed that this creature could be blind. Maybe it's the way the voice sounds. Ryland named the creature Rocky. He then went to his ship and changed the clock so that his numbers would pop up. When he showed the creature whose name he now thought was Rocky, Rocky felt the numbers and began to dance a little with joy. Ryland tried to teach him the thumbs up, but Rocky's hand structure was different. That's why he always had his thumbs down. After some time, Rocky came up with another thing which has a revolving mark. Royland understood that this is his hour. Royland then came into the tunnel with his laptop and mic. He pointed to each number and recorded Rocky's voice. Gradually, she started building a translator using AI to understand Rocky's language. In this way, both of them were beginning to understand each other's point of view, and both their friendship and mission began to move forward together. Ryland began making records of all his testing so that whatever he was learning could later be passed on to Earth. The alien was making all his things from a strange material. There was no name to it. That's why Ryland named him Xeno Knight. One day, Roland showed Rocky the astrophage. Rocky immediately recognized him and said that this is a very dangerous thing. It was confirmed that Rocky had also come here due to the same problem. Rocky happily said that he does not feel alone anymore. By the way, he also came with many people, but everyone died. Exactly the same thing happened with the crew of Royland. The two decided that they would save the stars together. Now, with the help of models and translators, Ryland explained all his research so far to Rocky. When Ryland started to go out of the tunnel to sleep, Rocky Bechara panicked that he would not die anywhere. Then Royland explained to him the meaning of sleep. Rocky said that everyone in his world sleeps together to stay safe. Rocky said, "I want to sleep with you too." But Ryland said, "Oh, don't talk like that. This looks like crap." But then Rocky told me that I had seen my entire crew sleeping, but he never got up. Then Royland understood his point and agreed. He made a place like a bed, and both of them slept together near the window. In a flashback, Eva introduces Ryland to the 3 astronauts chosen for the mission. At the time, Ryland was not on the team. He told Ryland that the ship should have a system so that self-destruction is turned on after the mission is completed, because they don't want to die of hunger. Ryland showed them a demo of the engine. The astrophage engine was so powerful that it melted a ton of metal in a few seconds. On this day, Royland was trying to make sense of his memories, and then he heard a voice. When he opened the door, he saw that Rocky had entered his ship wearing a small pressurized bubble suit. Rocky was impressed by the technology created by humans. But he told Ryland that you spread a lot of smell. Dirty Man Ryland said the two should work separately in their respective ships. "I'll make a room here," he said. "Both of them will work together soon." Rocky did not believe what Ryland said. Then there's also the fact that the dog is a little alien. It's also advanced for us. He also found Rocky's way of eating very strange. Rocky could see across the wall, and his hearing was very sharp. That is why Ryland was not getting privacy at all. Well, while talking about the technology of the ships, Ryland learned that Rocky's species does not know anything about radiation. Ryland explained to him that it was radiation that killed your crew. Rocky survived because his workshop was near astrophage, and astrophage protects from radiation. So they decided they needed samples of astrophages around the sun to see if it was different. Ryland separated the ships and steered his ship toward nearby planet. The trip lasted 11 days. During this time, Ryland showed Rocky the recordings of Earth. "I miss my partner," Rocky said. That is, in a way, his wife with whom he lived for undated 6 years. This seemed very strange. It turns out that Rocky's species has lived for more than 300 years. Then, suddenly, Ryland saw another flashback. He was with the team at the ship's bar. He did not feel anything special in the party, so he left. He found her outside. How can everyone be so happy? Everyone knows that these 3 astronauts are going to die, won't be coming back. Eva explained that this is what is called brotherhood. This will help them in their work. The two then went back to the bar and Eva started singing. Now, at the present time, the ship had reached the planet. Ryland was surprised to see the color of the planet. He took a spacewalk and activated a light from a machine. Thousands of astrophages came towards that light, and a beautiful glow was created. Together, they named the planet Adrian. When the samples were taken and tested, they found out that as many astrophages are coming to the planet, they are not going back. It was very strange because he used to come there to reproduce. Another test showed that along with astrophages, a special type of bacteria is also present there. This means that there is life on the planet Adrian. On hearing this, Rocky said that there is definitely a creature on this planet that is killing astrophages, just like a hunter. Because of this, astrophages are in control and are not able to become so powerful that anyone can damage the sun. If we take this astrophage-eating bacteria to our planet, then we will take our sun. Can also be saved. Now both of them thought that these bacteria must be in the clouds where astrophages reproduce. But this ship of theirs was not designed to go inside the atmosphere. Rocky said that we make a long chain. We will collect the samples. It's like fishing, Ryland said. But the problem was that Ryland was the ship's scientist. He didn't have much experience flying a plane. That's why he did all the practice so that the ship does not go too much into the atmosphere, because then they will be pulled inside the planet. During practice, Rocky would make videos for Earth. He felt that people on Earth were watching him live. Ryland told that brother it is not live. Lastly, a probe will be sent. All the information will be there. It will go to Earth. On hearing this, Rocky said that you are going yourself. Don't take. To this, Ryland said with a heavy heart that, "Brother, I cannot go back. I will die here. I don't have much time to go back." Rocky was shocked to hear this. He went in alone and did some calculations, and later he came in front of Ryland and gently said that you will not die. I'll give it to you. I have so much. I'm going to go a little slow. It will take me 4 more years. But you will come back. Ryland became very emotional after listening to this unknown friend of his. She hugged Rocky's bubble suit. The day for collecting samples arrived soon. Ryland brought the ship very close to the atmosphere and sent the probe down with Chan. When the samples were ready, Ryland went out to get them back. All this was taking a long time, and the heat of the atmosphere was causing a lot of damage to the ship. Suddenly, a piece of metal broke off and hit Ryland, knocking him unconscious. Seeing this, Rocky was very upset. He kept calling Ryland's name over and over again. After a while, when he regained consciousness, he saw that the probe was still hanging calmly. As the temperature was rising, Rocky said, "Come back inside and the brothers will take a new sample later." But Raylan said that would not happen again. He proceeded to take the probe. But another piece of metal hit him and he got entangled in the tether. He cut the rope with a knife and barely got back in, holding the ship with just his hand. The ship drifted away from planet Adrian, but part of it was still breaking off and there was a danger of an explosion. Ryland ran the engines at full power so that the ship would sail away quickly. After reaching a safe distance, the engines were shut down. However, the ship began to spin out of control. Ryland checked and found that there was a hole in the fuel tank, and fuel was leaking from 2 containers. The situation was dangerous. That's why they had to separate those fuel containers so that the ship could survive and the mission could continue. Now the ship was shaking very strongly. It was difficult to press the button at such a speed, but Raylan did not give up. He tried to separate the 2 fuel containers. As soon as that separated ship started moving straight again. But both Ryland and Rocky fainted due to the sudden jolt. After a while, Rayland regained consciousness. He tried to press the button that turned on the rotating gravity-generating machine so that it would be easier to run the ship from the inside, but his power was gone. He fell unconscious again. Rocky also came to his senses. She tried to talk to Ryland, but the translator wasn't working. Rocky was terrified. He was forced to come out of his security bubble. The atmosphere outside was hurting his body. Still, he went and pressed the button himself. Rocky then carried Ryland to the first aid room with great difficulty, where the mechanical robots began to treat Ryland. After doing all this, Rocky Bachara himself fainted. After a long time, Rayland regained consciousness. He saw some marks on the floor that looked like Rocky's blood. He followed the signs. He was relieved after a while as Rocky was back in his safety bubble and relaxing. But there's no way to know if he's really resting or dead. Now Ryland went to sleep with him as before. Later, when Ryland turned on the computer, he received a message from Rocky. He had written that they have to save their respective homes. That's why Ryland immediately went to work. He did the test and made sure he found the bacteria that eat the astrophages. He named this bacterium Tamiba. He then grew her in geninite casks and made some changes so that she could live in Venus's atmosphere as well. Days went by, but Rocky still didn't wake up. He also pasted small drawings on Rocky's bubble, encouraging him. After a while, Raylan slept for a while. A voice suddenly opened his eyes. He saw that Rocky was healed. She immediately hugged Rocky. Now both of them together checked how much that bacteria has become. Now that bacteria was ready in sufficient quantity. This means they can return home. Both of them celebrated and saw colorful firecrackers bursting in the sky. Rocky wore a special kind of clothes by applying genonite on his hands and feet and told that this is what we wear on special occasions. Roiland made paper hats. He also gave Rocky a laptop full of human knowledge and a spongy ball as a souvenir. Rocky felt bad that he had nothing to give. "You can show me your ship as a gift," said Roiland. When the two ships rejoined, Ryland wore a suit made from the xenonite. Rocky gave him a tour of his ship. Ryland was surprised to see his great take. During this time, his old memory came back. Ryland and Ava were talking just 3 days before their mission was launched. Suddenly, an explosion took place in the laboratory and the building caught fire. It turned out that the explosion in the lab was due to a mistake made while handling the astrophage. In this accident, the scientist astronaut who was about to go on this mission was killed. There was no time to prepare a new scientist. That's why Eva asked Ryland to go on the mission, but Rahul refused. There was an argument between the two. Eva reminded you that you have nothing to lose. You are the perfect candidate, no family or close friends. You don't even have a dog. He told Ryland to take 3 hours and think about it. After 3 hours, Ryland told Ava that he still didn't want to go on the mission. Ava explained to him that it was necessary for everyone's well-being. "I thought you were going to die in space, but if this mission is not completed, then everyone here will die. All the children you have taught, innocent people, women, old and young, will die." Now Ryland tried to run away, but security caught him and gave him sedatives. He was then forced to board the ship. In the present, Rocky helped repair damage to Ryland's ship. Now it was really time to return home. Both of them got emotional while saying goodbye to each other. Before leaving, Ryland said to Rocky in a very heroic way, "Okay, bro, see you again." But Rocky said it was weird because we were never going to meet again. To this, Ryland said that one should never be so sure about things. The two then went their separate ways, and Ryland had to learn to live alone again. After a while, the ship's air system, Marie reported that there was contamination inside the ship. There's another world out there. Ryland turned off the engines and went to check. He saw that the bacteria Tommy amoeba had broken the genonite box. He immediately put the entire bacteria in a closed container. But then he remembered what would happen to Rocky. His entire ship is made of genonite. If Tommyba gets there, he'll eat the fuel. Rocky will remain trapped in space. Now Raylan quickly calculated. He can't reach the Earth by saving Rocky. He doesn't have the guts to do both, but he didn't want his best friend to die. That's why he put all his research and a lot of specimens of Tau amoeba in a probe and sent it towards the Earth just like the previous plan. He then changed the course of the ship and calculated where Rocky would be. A few days later, he found Rocky's ship. Ryland got out and went to him by doing a spacewalk. He pressed his hand against the window. Rocky came and took her inside. After many years, the probe finally reached Earth. Eva saw Rocky in the recordings. Temperature of meaning had reduced considerably, but now people had a way to save their son. On the other hand, we see Rocky's planet, which was already saved. Because of Ryland. Thanks to Ryland, the aliens created a place similar to Earth for him. At the same time, he had learned the language of the aliens, and now, without a translator, he spoke directly to Rocky. One day, Rocky reveals that scientists have built a new spaceship so that Ryland can go back to Earth if he wants. "But I need some time to think," Ryland said. At this, Rocky was happy and said that brother should take as much time as he wants. In fact, Ryland had stayed there and had now become a teacher of alien children. If you liked the video, please share. Subscribe to channel. See you in the next video.